Hello and welcome to the show that bravely stares into the abyss of current events so you don't have to. Mostly because you probably have better things to do, like alphabetizing your spice rack or trying to teach a goldfish to play the banjo. Today, we're wading through the swamp of the last 24 hours of news because frankly someone has to. From the deeply weird to the genuinely concerning, we've got a buffet of headlines with a side of existential dread. Let's get into it, shall we? So, Elon Musk, the man who wants to send us to Mars in a giant metal tube, has apparently decided Earth needs his geopolitical expertise as well. This week, he graced us with a Twitter poll asking if the US should liberate Britain from its tyrannical government. Now, I'm not a historian, but I'm pretty sure the Revolutionary War already happened. And it didn't end well for the whole liberating Britain thing. This all started because of course it did, with Musk criticizing British Prime Minister Keir Starmer's handling of, well, something complicated and British. Look, it involved grooming gangs and Nigel Farage and Tommy Robinson, and honestly, it's like a Venn diagram of things I don't want to think about right now. But the point is, Musk, a man who once named his child XAEA, is now weighing in on British politics. And look, I get it. Running a social media platform is hard. But maybe, just maybe, leave international diplomacy to people who can locate Britain on a map without using Google. Because if this is how we're handling international relations now, with Twitter polls and billionaires with questionable haircuts, then frankly, I'm booking a one-way ticket to Mars myself. At least the robots there haven't learned to tweet yet. In the world of politics, simplicity is often seen as suspicious. So when the president-elect proposed cramming a whole bunch of legislative initiatives into one big beautiful, one powerful bill, Republican senators were about as enthusiastic as a cat at bath time. They're demanding details, which fair enough, it's like ordering a pizza and just hearing, it's gonna be great, trust me. You kind of want to know what toppings are involved, right? Unless of course you're allergic to details, in which case this bill might be right up your alley. But for now, the one powerful bill is facing some powerful skepticism. And honestly, in this political climate, trying to get everyone to agree on one thing is like trying to herd cats. Which, come to think of it, might be another item on the legislative agenda. Over in Israel, things aren't exactly peaceful either. Thousands of people have taken to the streets of Tel Aviv, and let's just say they're not there for a Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu appreciation festival. They're protesting his government, demanding the release of hostages held by Hamas in the Gaza Strip, and generally expressing their displeasure with the current state of affairs. It's a tense situation, and the only thing more awkward than trying to explain Israeli politics to an American audience is trying to explain American politics to an Israeli audience. But one thing's for sure, these protests are a clear sign that tensions are high, and the situation is, to put it mildly, complicated. So, just another Tuesday in the Middle East, then. Florida Representative Byron Donalds has the unenviable task of explaining how the incoming Republican administration plans to actually deliver on all those campaign promises. It's a bit like trying to explain to a toddler why they can't have ice cream for every meal. There are going to be some tantrums, some tears, and a whole lot of disappointment. But Donalds is out there, bravely trying to convince everyone that yes, this time, things will be different. This time, the promises will be kept, the walls will be built, and the swamp will be drained. Of course, the last time someone promised to drain the swamp, it just seemed to attract more alligators. But hey, optimism is a beautiful thing, even when it's completely delusional. In a stunning turn of events that surprised absolutely no one, Mike Johnson has been re-elected as House Speaker. It's like watching a rerun of a show you've already seen 1,000 times. You know exactly what's going to happen, but you can't help but watch anyway. If only to see if maybe, just maybe, this time the ending will be different. Spoiler alert, it won't be. But hey, at least it's familiar, right? In these uncertain times, there's something comforting about the predictability of politics. It's like a warm blanket of dysfunction and gridlock. Remember those border shelters that were supposed to alleviate pressure during migrant surges? Well, they might be going the way of the dodo bird. Because apparently nothing says compassionate like dismantling a system designed to help vulnerable people. Immigration advocates are understandably concerned, and with good reason. It's like putting out a fire with gasoline. It's not just ineffective, it's actively harmful. But hey, at least we're consistent, right? consistently making things worse. Finally, some good news. The FDA has decided that maybe, just maybe, putting toxic lead in baby food isn't such a great idea. They've announced new regulations to limit the amount of lead allowed in certain foods, because apparently we're still dealing with this in the 21st century. It's a small victory, but a victory nonetheless. And frankly, I'll take any good news I can get at this point. Even if it's just the government finally realizing that babies shouldn't be eating lead paint chips. Remember iodine deficiency? That fun little dietary problem from the past that caused all sorts of health issues? Well, guess what? It's back! Doctors are worried, and frankly so am I. Because if we're bringing back iodine deficiency, what's next? Scurvy? Rickets? The Black Plague? Honestly, at this point, nothing would surprise me. Except maybe if the government actually did something useful to address a public health crisis. But I'm not holding my breath. The United States has a maternal mortality problem. And by problem, I mean crisis. Women are dying during childbirth at alarming rates, and it's a national disgrace. But hey, at least we're not alone, right? Europe is dealing with it too, and they seem to be having some success addressing it, which means we could learn from them. But that would require admitting that maybe, just maybe, other countries are doing some things better than we are. And that's just not the American way, is it? And finally, because 2023 just can't get any weirder, we have our first confirmed human death from bird flu in Louisiana. Health officials are monitoring the situation closely, and I, for one, am welcoming our new avian overlords. Just kidding. Maybe. But seriously, this is concerning. Bird flu is no joke, and the fact that it's jumped to humans is, to put it mildly, not ideal. So, just add it to the ever-growing list of things to be worried about in this increasingly bizarre world we live in. And there you have it, folks, another day, another avalanche of news that's simultaneously terrifying and absurd. If you're not already drinking heavily, now might be a good time to start. But hey, at least we're all in this together, right? Well, except for Elon Musk, who's probably on a rocket to Mars by now. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more updates on the latest political news. See you next time.